and I can see it's my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight.
Right thing. Okay. Okay, last question. Has anyone had your passport or other documents taken by the agency?
Yes. When our first time to come here, then when we paid the 10%, then we gonna give it back the passport. Is that legal or? They're holding our passport, but after we pay the 10%, then we will return our passport. But I'm asking you, is legal that the agency will
We'll look at the COP. Okay, that's all. Thank you for sharing your experience. Just let me quickly share what the FABU research found in 2022, and you can maybe compare with your experience. So this is the fit for purpose research done by the FABU research team. I think some of you were the researchers, so you probably even know this better than me. And this, they wanted to assess how effective the COP was. So that relates very closely to what we're discussing today. So that research they interviewed more than 105 microdomestic workers, including 70 Filipino workers. So I think Filipino workers are the majority in those who are interviewed. The other 35 are Indonesians. 57% were charged illegal or excessive fees at some point. I guess not in the past 2 years, maybe in the course of your days in Hong Kong. 52% of those who were newly arrived in Hong Kong were charged excessive fees, and they found that on average it was $12,446 over a period of 5.6 months. I think comparing to what you were saying, that might be more of the case for Indonesian workers. That's my feeling. For those who were changing employers, 46% said they were charged excessive fees, and on average it was like 6,000 something Hong Kong dollars. So maybe similar to what Teresa has experienced. I think I heard like very loud no just now to the question about receipt, and that's like what they found in the research in 2022. 88% did not get a receipt. Or I think if you're charged more than 10%, then you definitely don't get a receipt. Or maybe you get a receipt saying you were charged 10%, which is not true. So that's what's happening. And then some people also had their personal documents like passports confiscated. That's like 29% from the research that FABU did in 2022. The COP will look at that in a while, but I think first we need to recognize that this is actually not a very strong piece of document, and it's more like a policy rather than a law. based on what we looked at just now, it's quite clear that agencies are not really following the rules like here and there. But then if we look at like numbers from the Labor Department, there were only 12 convictions between 2019 to 2021. So in like 3 years, there were only 12 convictions. And then if you look at the fine, like if an agency overcharges it, they got sent to court. On average, they were fined for only 16,000 Hong Kong dollars. So that's like not, maybe like just 3 times of what they're charging Teresa. So that's like a very small amount for an employment agency. And then what we need to note is that this average was like brought up by one case, because there was one case the agency was fined for 84,000 Hong Kong dollars. If we exclude that, other agencies are only fined like 8,000 Hong Kong dollars. Like not much more than what you're paying then, if you're overcharged. So that's the reality. That's how things are like with the COP in 2022. And then this year, there's this new, not like new, a revised version of the COP that came into effect in May 9th this year. So that's why we're here today to get to know a bit more what's really in there and what the government is trying to do to combat employment agency malpractices. So I think what we want to know here is that what are the protections? But also we need to also think about is what are the protections that are not there? Like what's not enough? Because that's really the actual situation here. To help you understand a bit more about the code of practice, what it's about, first there is this employment agency administration at the Labor Department. What they do is they do the licensing for employment agencies. They can go inspect the employment agencies, and also they take complaints and do investigation. So if you find that an employment agency is doing something bad to you or your friends, and you want to file a complaint, that's where you go to. You go to the employment agency administration. You can file a complaint online, or you go to the Mong Kok office to file a complaint. So let's get to know what these employment agencies need to follow in terms under the law and under the COP. There are 2 parts that I will cover. First is what the law says. So those are things that the agencies are supposed to follow, and if you have enough evidence to show that they did not follow these rules and laws, they can get convicted and they can be fined, or the agency owner can go to prison, although it doesn't really happen very often. And then the other part is are the rules that agencies need to follow, but there might not be any legal consequences. So first is that for employment agencies to operate in Hong Kong, they need a license. So it could be like a person or an actual agency with an office. Like whether it's a person or like a company, they need to get a license. So if you think that there is an agency that's kind of suspicious and they're not doing the right thing, the first thing you can try to do to maybe protect yourself is to check if they are licensed. And the license is valid for 12 months, and they need to renew it every year. If they don't have a valid license and they still do business, they provide the placement service, and they charge you money, that's like illegal. So I think there were maybe 2 persons who were brought to court last year for not having a license and operating an agency business. Do you know how to check if an agency has a license? So there's like an online portal on the Labor Department's website. I can maybe show you.
One are legal agencies. Oh, search. Yeah.
You can go to the Labor Department's website, and then you go. Here. And then you go check. And you click it there. And then you type the name. If you type a name and you don't find it on the portal, that's not a licensed agency. So that's how you can check. And then another thing that's starting on the 1st of July is that there will be a QR code on the agency's license. So what the Labor Department is asking the agencies to do is to put up their license in the office, like somewhere you can see easily. And then there should be like a QR code, you can go scan it. And then if it brings you to the Labor Department's website, it's a licensed agency. But if they have a fake license in the office, then the QR code should not work.
That's a good idea.
So that's like something new. Maybe you can go try and see if it's actually effective. So going back. Another thing they need to do is to like maintain records of all the job seekers, and then the Labor Department says they would check anytime, and they need to produce them. So that actually includes a lot of your personal information. So you also need to know that agencies are taking your personal information. And you might want to think if they have asked you for your consent to take those information and whether they explain to you how they're going to use those information. So next is about agency fees. We talked about it quite a bit just now. This is the law. It's like in the employment ordinance, it says that commission fees cannot exceed 10% of your first month's salary. And they can only charge you after you finish the first.